So welcome again, everyone. Today, we're going to be discussing product-led growth, product-led sales, and more specifically, how to layer sales into an existing PLG motion. I'm Steven. I lead up sales and success here at Calixa. I got my first taste of product-led sales back in 2015 at Mixpanel, and quickly learned or got a feel that this was going to be the way that soon all modern SaaS was going to be sold. So before we dig into the content, we're going to kick things off with a poll just to kind of gauge where the audience is in this journey. So you can head over to the polls tab in Livestorm, the bottom right here. And Joanna has loaded up a few questions there. So first one, pretty basic, elementary. Does your sales team sell into your current sign-up base? So we'll give folks a minute to answer that. All right, I see often is currently leading the pack here. I got a sometimes and a rarely. You do still talk to companies that haven't quite cracked the nut on selling into their existing sign-up base, which we'll definitely get into later today. The second question that we're going to ask is, are you leveraging product data during the sales cycle? All right, so I see I have access to product data, but don't know how to use it. I use product data all the time. That's great if you're already incorporating product data into your sales motion. That means you're ahead of the industry at large. We do find that there's a lot of folks in this middle bucket where you have some access, but that data oftentimes isn't presented in a format that makes sense for salespeople or easy for salespeople to use. So cool. Thank you for the responses. We'll have one more question at the end, but that kind of gives us a good foundation for where folks are in terms of their PLS education. In terms of the agenda for today, we're going to start off with basics. So what is product-led sales? Then we'll dig into some of the common PLS workflows, prospecting, closing, and growing. We'll chat through a Calixa customer story, and then we'll walk through a demo of how you can get started layering sales into your PLG motion by prioritizing and acting on PQLs. And so definitely ask questions in the chat throughout. I'll try to be monitoring it as I go through the presentation, but we'll also save time at the end for any additional questions that come up. Cool. So whether you've been selling SaaS for decades or are pretty new to the industry, you're probably very familiar with the traditional B2B sales model. And so in this model, salespeople are essentially acting as gatekeepers to the product. So it involves folks kicking off a sales engagement by generally requesting a demo or filling out a contact us form on the website. A salesperson then kind of kicks off qualification, discovery, and demo, kind of that traditional SaaS sales motion. But all that happens before the customer is able to start using the product. And so once the customer has gone through the motions, they get to implement the product. And once that's successful, finally start to use it and find value. And so this approach definitely has its merits. I mean, it puts reps in full control over the customer's end-to-end buying experience. But it also means that there's a lengthy process before the customer is realizing any value of the product. And so, what I think all of us have seen is that the expectation of software users has changed. So, you think of trends pioneered by companies like Twilio, Zoom, DocuSign, Slack. Software is now easier to use than ever, but also more accessible to those who want to try before they buy. And so in a modern world, buyers expect to sign up and kick the tires. If they like it, they'll start to use it more regularly and invite their coworkers. And at this point, typically a sales process gets kicked off. So the contrast, is pretty easy to see when you compare the timeframes. A traditional or legacy B2B sales cycle could be, up to a year or sometimes even longer. Whereas in product-led growth and product-led sales, typically this process could be condensed to, a week, a couple weeks in length. And so I also would be remiss not to mention that Calixa drinks our own champagne here, and we've had that self-serve PLG funnel from day one. We think it's really important to learn from what these leading companies have kind of architected in terms of their user sign-up flow, and made that a core tenet of the product. So jumping in kind of to the rise of product-led sales. So while the change in the customer acquisition journey is definitely better for the buyer, it does have pretty big implications on sales role in the buying process, right? So coming in after a user has experienced the product changes everything from how you should run discovery to who needs to be involved in a deal. And it also opens up additional challenges, right? If anyone can just sign up and start using it, typically we see that successful companies have thousands, tens of thousands, or hundreds of thousands of signups a month. Some are going to be qualified, but many aren't. So as a sales rep, as a sales manager assigning out leads or accounts to your team, who do you talk to? And so just some interesting stats before we kind of dig into the meat of this. We have seen that over 75% of product-led growth companies already have salespeople contacting their free signups. So that is becoming the norm. I think this hopefully goes without saying. I know there's some misinformation floating around on LinkedIn threads about this, but product-led growth definitely does not remove the need for salespeople. That's definitely not the intention of this. The other kind of validation of that is that salespeople actually increase conversion by 3x. So the impact of sales on freemium signups is pretty telling, right? Like adding a human touch into that sales motion on top of the freemium funnel can increase conversions. What we're seeing in this study is 15% conversion versus 5% without sales assist or human interaction. But having reps focus on marketing qualified leads or MQLs that are defined by the traditional sales data points like white paper downloads, ad impressions, or purely firmographic or title, company size, those types of data points. That's definitely leaving money on the table, right? You want reps working product qualified leads or leads that are qualified from both a customer fit, again, company size, title, industry, revenue, but also a product intent. Have they shown some interest in using the product? Are they inviting friends? Are they using premium functionality that could lead to an enterprise sales conversation? Cool. So where do we fit in with all of this? So Calixa really powers the end-to-end product-led sales motion by helping reps find, close, and grow customers, most notably from your freemium or free trial sign-up base. So to kind of break this down further, we're helping SDRs and AEs prospect into the existing sign-up base by surfacing the best fit and highest intent leads with product usage data, giving you alerts for high priority signups and meaningful usage spikes, allowing you to add those PQLs to sequences or create leads in connected tools like your traditional CRM, either with one click, a rep doing it manually, or in a fully automated fashion. We also help with the closing process. So giving AEs kind of what they need to move deals across the finish line. So giving them easy access to product usage data, allowing them to have better conversations about the value your prospect is getting, and using that to justify higher deal sizes. Layering in enrichment data from tools like Clearbit or your CRM to easily identify who the decision maker is in an account and who are your champions. And then also, making sure that the team is all executing at the highest level by creating repeatable playbooks and standardized actions so that your reps are taking the right action at the right time. And then finally, on the grow side, AMs and CSMs are able to manage their existing book of business, find growth and upsell opportunities, monitor spikes or dips in usage, and also even prepare for QBRs or monthly check-ins by having a quick snapshot of what the current state of product usage looks like. Cool. And so really, I mean, this functionality is only as powerful as the data used to back it up. So this is why we've really designed our platform to integrate with the tools that most modern successful SaaS businesses are already using. So the modern data stack has gained a lot of notoriety, and we've aimed to be warehouse first and pull product data directly from Snowflake or BigQuery, but also can easily integrate with typical event tracking tools like Mixpanel, Amplitude, or Segment. And then your product data is enriched from traditional CRMs like Salesforce and HubSpot. We pull in support, billing information, and then other kind of general business metrics from Intercom, Zendesk, and Stripe. So really, we aim for whatever your stack looks like. We'll be able to pull in the relevant data that's going to power your sales team. And then we can also take action in the connected tools as well. So whether it's kicking off cadences in SalesLoft or Outreach, adding to marketing campaigns in HubSpot, or piping data out via a webhook to other connected tools, it's really the end-to-end connected experience. So what does that get you? A lot of the times when we chat with prospects, we hear, hey, we have this data in other tools like Amplitude or Mixpanel, but sales doesn't really know how to use it. So as important as pulling in the data is presenting it in a way that is intuitive and easy for sales to actually take action on. So it's consolidating the data in simple views and then providing those easy to use actions that are going to move the needle in deals. Cool. And all of this leads to pretty powerful results. So Netlify was challenged with many of the issues that leading high growth PLG companies face: lots of signups, growing sales team, no way of prioritizing leads or managing their PLS workflows. And giving the team self-service access to this data in Calixa resulted in a huge time savings for the SDR team. They've rolled it out more broadly, but just on the SDR piece, 50% reduction in the time that they're spending prospecting on a daily basis. And it's also centralized the data for the entire go-to-market org. So reducing the total number of tools that they were switching between for any of these key sales workflows from 7 down to 2, just Calixa and Salesforce. Okie dokie. So I've been talking a lot. I'm going to go ahead and switch over to the next poll. And so this one is going to be, what are the current challenges or biggest challenges of selling into your existing signups. So I see a few folks unsure of best practices. It seems like that's the prevailing or leading answer. Not having the data I need also coming up. Those are definitely two common ones that we hear. I think you can't really do anything until you have the data. So, even if that's having some report, a static report that is delivered to the reps, like reps need to have some way of viewing signups and some product usage associated with that. But the next step beyond that is really building out the playbooks. Like now that you have more insight into what folks are doing once they sign up, what accounts they're part of, which accounts are growing fastest, what plays do you run? How do you kind of kick off that free to paid or pro plan to enterprise plan conversion? And what should the sales rep be doing based on what these freemium signups are doing on the product? Cool. Alrighty. So we're gonna switch over to a quick demo of the product. We'll focus on kind of three main components: prioritizing PQLs, executing on deals, and automating workflows. Feel free as we go through this, throw questions in the chat about any of the functionality or anything that you're hoping to see. I'll go ahead and switch over my share. Cool. So kicking off with prioritization, typically a rep that lives in Calixa will start their day with a view of their accounts. And so Calixa makes it really easy to filter for accounts that have a good customer fit, and make sure that when you're viewing accounts, you're viewing the ones in your name. We also really make it easy to filter and prioritize those accounts based on product usage metrics, whether that's the number of events they've sent, whether that's the number of builds they've kicked off, users they've added, and see where they are in that customer journey. As a rep, I see Barton Bank is at the top of my list. They have a PQL score of 5, which is based on Calixa's machine learning model. They have a high customer fit. They're ready for an enterprise plan, and their usage has been growing. So what I'm going to do here is click in and learn more about this account. I can see a snapshot of their usage over time, which is helpful as I think about writing an email to one of the folks that's a part of this account. I can also quickly see who the most active users are and get a feel for what are their titles. Since I'm selling a product that lends itself well to engineers, I am going to see the head of engineering has triggered 80 actions in the last 30 days. And I'm going to go ahead and click in and learn more about Theo's individual usage. Here I can see that Theo has written in with a support ticket on Zendesk. Their usage does seem to be dipping, unfortunately. So I think it's pretty important that I chat with them sooner rather than later to make sure that everything is going well and this deal is still on track. With a couple clicks, I can add him to a cadence. And if that's an automated cadence in SalesLoft or Outreach, that's going to be triggered automatically. And if it's personalized, I'll have it in my queue ready to personalize and send off. So that's the prioritization and deal execution piece. Based on some of the responses to the polls, it sounds like they're folks are currently dealing with kind of a lack of standardization or best practices around what folks should be doing when inbound signups or accounts meet certain criteria or reach certain points in their user journey. So for this, we actually built out this concept of playbooks that get filtered to a rep's inbox. So if I was a rep for that Barton Bank account and I wanted to know what the next plays that I should kick off would be, I'm able to see, okay, this account meets the inbound sales assist play. Here I can go ahead and view them in Salesforce. I can create a lead. I can add it to a HubSpot list. But I should probably send them an email that references their usage of the product that looks something like this. As soon as I've completed that, I can mark it complete and it'll get dismissed. Now, one of the common things that reps are always saying is, hey, this is another tool for me to log into. How can I be more proactive with these accounts without having to worry about viewing another tool? So that's why we designed alerts to kind of bridge that gap. So product qualified accounts or product qualified leads will automatically get routed to reps based on ownership. So Slack alerts when users are added to an account, if their usage meets a certain PQL score, or other interesting things happen, like if they're hitting enterprise-specific paywalls or premium functionality is used, that tends to be a good indicator that this account is likely to upgrade. And finally, all of the connected actions can also be automated. So whether you're trying to dynamically route those PQLs into an outreach or sales loft cadence, or adding signups as leads to the CRM or to a marketing specific list, our automations platform can let you use that firmographic data, that product intent data, to route this into the appropriate tool without having to lift a finger. This was a quite quick overview of the Calixa platform. Definitely happy to dive deeper into it if folks are interested. But I'll go ahead and flip back to the presentation for questions. All right, so good one from Liam. Curious, what tools should a company already have in place to get the most out of Calixa? Yeah, that's a question that we get from a lot of companies who are building out their data stack from the ground up. I'd say the two categories of tool that are critical for MVP is having your data in either a data warehouse or a CDP, and having a CRM, a traditional CRM in place. On the data warehouse side, we really like Snowflake, BigQuery, and Segment. We also do support Amazon Redshift and also the leading reverse ETL tools like Census and HighTouch. But having a source of truth for your product usage data gives us a really good foundation for us to pull everything in from. On the CRM side, HubSpot and Salesforce are essentially the market leaders. We've integrated with both of those from the early days. So generally, we see smaller companies starting with HubSpot, but once you've scaled up, Salesforce typically is the norm. The next kind of category of tool that I would recommend adding onto that stack is some sort of email sequencing or cadencing tool. Really like both Outreach and SalesLoft. Those are going to essentially allow you to not just take in data and find the right prospects and manage your deals, but also take action on those and really increase that efficiency of your existing workflows. Cool. So, how do you help companies plan how many salespeople they need before they have Calixa in place? That's a great question. Uh, this one has been top of mind for a lot of folks given economic conditions. Everyone, I think, is trying to do more with less. But I think one of the things that we do really help with that has been a blind spot typically for companies is they don't have a sense of how many leads are actually sales qualified or product qualified. So setting up something like Calixa can help you develop a baseline of what your real pipeline and your real PLG funnel looks like. And from there, we can help you understand, hey, of these signups, X% are real opportunities. You should have a sales rep covering the top 70-80% of this funnel because those are going to yield the highest revenue. So there isn't one silver bullet to sales hiring, but I think starting with better visibility into the data and a more realistic view of your pipeline of opportunities is definitely a step in the right direction. And we have another one. So how have you seen companies with no PLS motion get started? Yeah, that's one that comes up from time to time. It's two kind of camps of companies. One is, hey, we have PLG. That PLG motion is humming along smoothly, but we know that there are these larger enterprises that could benefit from that sales or that sales assist motion. So I think the primary ways that we help you develop playbooks for how you should layer in sales without disrupting the current successful PLG motion. I think it's giving you the data and the scoring to say, this is when a rep should assist. This is when it's too early and you're gonna risk offending or overwhelming the new user if you hop in too early. So guidance recommendations on kind of what plays sales should run. There's also the other camp of companies that have a sales-led motion, and that's going really well, but they want to layer in product-led elements of it. So opening up a freemium or free trial offering for either all or a subset of their signups. And I think that's where there again is an opportunity to give those existing reps who are used to running the end-to-end sales motion with full control of the process, better visibility into how those self-serve signups are, what they're doing, who they're inviting, which accounts are active, so that they feel like they're still in control of the deals, even though there's this new concept of a PLG funnel being layered into their world. All great questions. Cool. Give it another minute or so if anyone else has any questions. Awesome. Well, thanks everyone for joining. I hope this was informative. Feel free to hit me over email, moock@calixa.io. Moock like Coke is the easiest way to pronounce that. Otherwise, everyone have a good rest of your day.